Stop consonants. Stop consonants is the second type of consonants in English. They are consonants that are produced by stopping the flow of air at some point in the vocal tract and then suddenly releasing it, causing a slight explosion. Stop consonants are also called plosives or occlusives. Stops are opposite of continuants because when stop consonants are produced, there is a complete stoppage of air in the vocal tract, whereas continuants are not produced with a complete stoppage of air in the vocal tract. Stop consonants are divided into 4 categories. Number 1, bilabial stops, p, b. 2, alveolar stops, t and d. Number 3, velar stops, k and g. And number 4, post-alveolar stops, ch and j. Nasal consonants are also considered stop consonants. How are stop sounds articulated? There are 3 main stages that are involved in the production or articulation of stop consonants, which are catch, occlusion, or release. First stage, which is the catch or stopping, the air passage completely closes so that no air can escape through the mouth, and that's why they are called stops. The second stage is occlusion or holding. In this stage, the air passage stays closed, building pressure, and that's why they are called occlusives. The final stage, which is the release stage or the burst, the complete closure is opened suddenly, releasing the pressured air, causing an audible sound, which is a slight explosion. That's why they are called plosives. The first type of stop consonants is the bilabial stops, p and b. There are only 2 bilabial stop consonants. Phonemic description of p and b. P is voiceless, bilabial, stop. B is voiced, bilabial, stop. P is voiceless because it is produced when the vocal cords are not vibrating, whereas B is voiced because it is produced when the vocal cords are vibrating. P and B are bilabials because they are produced when the lower lip and the upper lip are completely closed. In the production of P and B, we use both lips, upper and lower. P and B are stop consonants because they are produced with a complete stoppage of airstream in the mouth or the vocal tract. When P and B are produced, the speech organs are in the following positions. First, the soft palate is raised, allowing air to escape through the mouth and not the nose. 2. Upper lip and lower lip are completely closed, forming a complete closure for a short period of time. This way, they prevent air from leaving through the mouth or nose. 3. Lips, lower and upper, are opened suddenly, allowing air to escape through the mouth, causing a slight explosion. What are the differences between p and b? P is voiceless, b is voiced. P is stronger than b. P is longer than b. There is another important difference between p and b, which is p is aspirated, whereas b is never aspirated. What is aspiration? Aspiration is a puff of air that occurs after the explosion of the stop consonants p, t, and k, or it is a short period of breath caused by the explosion of p, t, and k. There are only 3 aspirated consonants in English, which are p, t, and k. There is an important difference between p, t, and k, which are stops, and between the fricative sounds f, th, s, and sh. This difference is p, t, and k make the following sound, the sound that comes after them, lose some of its voicing, whereas f, th, s, and sh do not make the sound that comes after them lose some of its voicing. F, th, s, and sh do not affect the voicing of the following sound because they are not aspirated. For example, play. When we pronounce the word play, the le sound, which is a voiced sound, loses some of its voicing because of the aspiration of p. In the second example, try, the ra sound in this example loses some of its voicing because of the aspiration of t. In the third example, kill, the vowel e loses some of its voicing because of the aspiration of k. The first part of the vowel in this example is not voiced because the aspiration of k causes it to lose some of its voicing. It is important to note that p has less aspiration when it occurs medially or between vowels or finally. For example, tap, clip, stopping, stop, ripe, supper, happy. B is never aspirated. B is sometimes not voiced when it occurs finally. For example, lab, grab, tab, nope, nab, rib. Here we can feel that b is pronounced with no voice. P and b affect the vowel that comes before them when they occur finally. The strong consonant p makes the vowel that comes before it shorter, whereas the weak consonant b makes the vowel that comes before it longer. Example, tap, tab. The a vowel in the word tab is pronounced with more length than the vowel in the word tap, i.e., it is longer. In the second example, rope and robe. The o vowel in the word rope is pronounced with more length than the vowel in the word rope. second type of stop consonants is the alveolar stops, t and d. T is voiceless, alveolar stop, whereas d is voiced, alveolar stop. Again, t is voiceless because there is no vibration for the vocal cords when it is produced. D is voiced because there is vibration for the vocal cords when it is produced. T and D are alveolars because they are produced when the tip of the tongue is against the alveolar ridge. T and D are called stops because they are produced with complete stoppage of airstream in the mouth. When T and D are articulated, the following speech organs are in the following position. The soft palate is raised, the tip of the tongue is placed against the middle of the alveolar ridge, and the sides of the tongue are firmly against the sides of the palate, completely stopping air from passing over the sides of the tongue. The air then bursts out suddenly when the tip of the tongue is lifted off from the alveolar ridge, causing a slight explosion. The differences between T and D. T is voiceless, D is voiced. T is stronger than D, T is longer than D, T is aspirated, D is never aspirated. T makes the following sound lose some of its voicing because it is aspirated. T has less aspiration when it occurs medially or finally. Examples: hit, sat, cat, kitten, brought, cheat, writing. D is never aspirated. T and D affect the vowel that precedes them when they occur finally. The strong consonant T makes the preceding vowel shorter, whereas the weak consonant D makes the preceding vowel longer. For example, in the words hat and had, the vowel in the word had is pronounced with more length than the vowel a in the word hat. Again, in example number 2, the vowel in the word hard is pronounced with more length than the vowel in the word hot. Therefore, we pronounce them as hot, hard, hot, hard. The a vowel in the word hard is longer than the a vowel in the word hat. The third group of English stop consonants is the alveolar stops, k and g. K is voiceless, velar stop. G is voiced, velar stop. K is voiceless because it is produced when the vocal cords are not vibrating. G is voiced because it is produced when the vocal cords are vibrating. K and G are velars because they are produced when the back of the tongue is in firm contact with the velum or the soft palate, completely stopping airstream from passing. K and G are stops because they are produced with complete stoppage of airstream in the mouth. When K and G are produced, the speech organs are in the following positions. The soft palate is raised. 2. The back of the tongue is placed against the velum or the soft palate. 3. The air bursts out suddenly when the back of the tongue is lifted off, i.e. lowered from the velum, causing a slight explosion. Differences between K and G. K is voiceless, G is voiced. K is stronger than G. K is longer than G. K is aspirated, G is never aspirated. Just like P and T, K makes the following sound lose some of its voicing because of the aspiration. K also has less aspiration when it occurs medially or finally. Examples: hike, take, lacking, breaker, tick, think, licking. G is never aspirated. K and G also affect the vowel that precedes them when they occur finally. K makes the preceding vowel shorter, whereas G makes the preceding vowel longer. For example, pick and pig. The E vowel in the word pig is longer than the E vowel in the word pick. So we pronounce them as pick, pig, pick, pig. The second example, lake and plague. The A vowel in the word plague is longer than the A vowel in the word lake. So we pronounce them as lake, plague, lake, plague. Final group of post-alveolar stops is ch and j. There are two post-alveolar stop sounds. They are also called alveopalatal stops or palato-alveolar stops. Ch is voiceless, j is voiced. Ch is post-alveolar, j is also post-alveolar. Ch is stop, j is also stop. Ch is voiceless because it is produced when the vocal cords are not vibrating, whereas j is voiced because it is produced when the vocal cords are vibrating. Ch and j are post-alveolars because they are produced when the tip of the tongue is in firm contact with the back of the alveolar ridge, completely stopping airstream from passing through. Ch and j are stops because they are produced with complete stoppage of airstream in the mouth or in the vocal tract. The articulation of ch and j. Ch and j are also called affricates. They are a mixture of a stop and a fricative consonants. Ch is made of t and sh, whereas j is made of d and j. When producing ch and j, the speech organs are in the following positions. The soft palate is raised. The tip of the tongue is placed against the back of the alveolar ridge. The air bursts out suddenly when the tip of the tongue is left off or lowered from the back of the alveolar ridge, causing a slight explosion. The differences between ch and j. Ch is voiceless, j is voiced. Ch is stronger and longer than j. Ch makes the preceding vowel when it occurs finally shorter, whereas j makes the preceding vowel when it occurs finally longer. For example, fetch and edge. The vowel e, in the word edge is longer than the vowel e in the word fetch. Therefore, we pronounce them as follows: fetch, edge, fetch, edge. Again, in example number 2, the vowel in the word surge is longer than the vowel in the word search. So we pronounce them as search, surge, search, surge.